What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the D.O.G podcast. As always, I'm Drew with German OC, and today, you guessed it, we're talking about football.
NFL, man. It's football season, dude.
Yep.
Let's get into it.
We're not talking about college football this week. No college football.
No, not
college
this
football's
week.
over.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't give two shits about college football.
I'm going to go to San Diego to go watch the game.
Good for you. College football's over.
Maybe
You're going to
they'll
go to
win.
San Diego to watch fucking what?
Maybe
watch
they'll
what?
win.
Jeez, dude. F-bomb, the first one.
That's how I feel about college football right now.
I'm just going to edit all of that.
Dude, just put the little SpongeBob sound over it when they cuss.
Like the dolphin sound?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what? It's old man Jenkins. Let's talk about the game of the week. Right off the bat.
We've lost another quarterback.
Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
that?
we'll go with Thursday first.
All right, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow
Out for the season?
out for the season. How much trouble are the Bengals going to be in? What's their fine for not listing Joe Burrow on the injury
I don't know,
report?
but that.
Well, it's still under investigation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a big deal, isn't it?
It's worse when the team deleted the video.
Yes.
And they just made it look
Yeah.
even
It makes it
more.
look bad.
And then when he gets hurt, like, it's just like, oh, so he was hurt, but you didn't say it or list it all.
I went back. So you were telling me like, oh, he's hurt and whatnot. And so I went back and I looked at the film. I was like, okay, the injury doesn't look too bad, like the play, but you can see like the very next play, like instantly in pain.
Yeah.
And then I see the video of him trying to throw on the sideline, where as soon as he starts to bring that ball forward, just lets it go. I was like, oh, this is bad.
Well, when he threw that ball, he like fell to his knees.
I was like, this is like a
it's
fracture.
What was that?
Well, when he threw the touchdown, was it to Mixon?
Yeah.
Like, you see him, like, grabbing his
Kinda
hand. He's
like-
like, oh, like, it was bothering him.
Yeah.
Did they say what the actual injury was? Like, because they said it was a torn ligament, right?
Yeah.
But
I don't know if he fell on it. Did he fall on it?
When he landed, he kind of like.
It looked like he landed like this,
Yeah.
and then he had like his weight and the defender's weight on his back, kind of both. But
If you didn't have an injury there, I think he would have been up just fine. Kind of
Right.
like, oh, that felt a little
Right.
weird.
Pre-existing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a 100% a pre-existing injury, and that's when we got into the argument where I was like, "Can we be done with Thursday night football?" But I mean, of course, the NFL is never gonna
Too much
get away
money.
from it.
No.
I mean, all the players hate it, right? Turn around 3 days later to go 100%
I think they
again.
hate it. They hate it if they get hurt, right? Like Burrow, but they like it like if they make it through and then they get
And
10
then they
days
get the
off.
rest
Yeah.
afterwards.
So they're chilling.
But wouldn't it make sense then? Okay, like if you keep Thursday night football, but wouldn't it make sense then you have your bye week before you play Thursday night? So then you have that whole bye week, and then you have
the couple days
the
before.
the 3 days off. You get suited up for Thursday night, and then you turn around
The problem
10
is
days later.
The problem is the NFL has a Thursday night game every single week of the year, except
And
I
then
think the last week.
the beginning
Yeah,
weeks.
I mean the
you can't
first
do that.
game's on a Thursday night,
Right.
And then from there on out, they
Yeah, but there's
extend it
no
out.
there's no Sunday game though.
Yeah, the first game.
It doesn't matter.
The
It's
first game is fine.
Yeah.
But you're saying like
Thereafter.
week 2, week 3.
Yeah.
And then bye weeks don't start till like what, week 4, week 5?
I think week 5. Everyone
Right.
plays 4 games first, and then week 5 is when the buys start.
So week 2, 3, and week 4 would be like the problems for that. Then you can't do a bye week.
Yeah, and then I think they used to hold off. It was like the Thursday night would start it off, and then they wouldn't play a Thursday night until like October.
I
remember that.
I think what's gonna end up happening is they're gonna start doing more Saturday games. They're gonna probably do some Saturday primetime games. If you really look at like, I got into this conversation at work the other day on how I think the Cowboys-Eagles rivalry is the biggest rivalry in football, and how that brought out so many viewers when they played 2 weeks ago. It was like 27 million. And I thought there's a good chance that the Eagles-Chiefs game is not going to get as many viewers as that. And they got just like about 1 million more. And so he's like, see, I told you, like everyone cares about that more. And I was like, okay, well, why did more people watch that game?
It was the only
simple.
game that was
It
on.
was the only game that was on.
Mm-hmm.
When the Cowboys and Eagles played, there was more games playing. I think the NFL really likes when it's the only thing.
That's
on.
why they like the Thursday nights, because
I
they
think
got sole possession of the entire country.
You're
Or people
gonna-
that like
Right.
watching football.
You're gonna
like,
see.
Are watching that game.
You're gonna
yeah.
see the first ever Friday game this year, right? The Eagles or the Dolphins got Friday night.
Yeah,
this week,
they
right?
got Black Friday.
Black Friday. The
Yeah.
game's like at noon.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I
think that's a good time slot.
The
Yeah, it's a good time
NFL
slot.
I think the NFL is going to experiment and try to do more of these games where there's not other games on, I think that's eventually going to include Saturdays.
Well, I think as the college season kind of shrinks up, like I think then you'll start
that's
seeing
when you start
the
seeing Saturday games.
because then they could take over those windows.
Because we get the Saturday games in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And so like that's where like when there's no college games, I think so like in like the end of November, all of December, you could have a Saturday game
To be
trickling
fair,
into January.
With the Pac-12 kind of dissolving, what late evening games on Saturday are going to be really eventful next year?
Mountain West, baby.
Woo! Air Force and Hawaii.
Yeah,
Gotta see.
SC's gonna have to play like at 9 a.m. right?
They're gonna have to play early now. Yeah.
Well, unless they're on the West Coast, or they're gonna have them play like at 1 o'clock.
I think it's going to be a long time until those guys start to come west.
And that's the thing is that I think we got into that conversation, which we can go into a whole nother conversation with that.
But bottom
it's
line
gonna
is
be weird.
NFL wants to.
They want more days.
They want to control the days that like they want all the viewers on one game.
Surprising. What was this? This is surprising, right? The NFL wants more money.
Yeah.
Shocking. Yeah. But yeah, let's get back into the Bengals and looking at the rest of their schedule. With Joe Burrow out, they had
Bengals done.
the really weak start because they got the Steelers, Jags, Colts, Vikings, Steelers again, Chiefs, and then Browns at the end of the year.
Sorry, but
I mean,
they're
that's just.
They're
I mean,
out.
it sums it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then.
Very
I mean, you have the rookie quarterback that's there. Again, another rookie that has to suit up, right?
Was it Jake Browning?
Yeah, Jake Browning. And it's just how many times, I think I was telling you guys, like how many times are going to watch backup quarterbacks on prime time? That's starting to get annoying. But and then this is actually kind of leads me into something I wanted to ask you guys. If you guys saw Tom Brady's comments earlier today.
Mediocrity.
And how the NFL's mediocrity. But, I mean, I actually watched the video. That's the big thing, right? That was the big headlining quote. But he goes on to saying about how the rules are changing, the generations are changing. He pretty much just called his generation soft. Just like every other old guy is doing the exact same thing. He called them soft, but a lot of that was the rule changes making them soft, and then the players and coaches not taking accountability for some of these injuries. Because then he goes on and talks, was like, well, back then you had guys like Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Rodney Lott. If you threw a ball over the middle, your guy was done.
Yeah.
And so Tom Brady was talking, so I didn't throw the ball over the middle. If we were playing those guys, if I knew these guys were your head hunting,
Protect your guys.
Protect your guys. And that's what he's saying. Like, well, the coaches need to protect their players more, and the players need to protect themselves more. Where he was talking about how like all these soft calls of the roughing the passers and stuff. It's like, and then that's why I kind of want to ask you guys, like, why is it that we're seeing so many more injured starting quarterbacks going out when before, like Brett Favre, how many starts did he miss? Right? Joe Montana, Steve Young, Drew Brees. Yeah, he had the one season. Same thing with Tom Brady. But then he also went, 16, 17 years in a row without missing any games? That wasn't a suspension?
I think this is athletics across the board. I feel like they played back in the day with injury way more than we do now. Because I think that they were less concerned about the future in the past, and they're more concerned about the now. When you look at, some of these injuries now, it's like, yeah, you could probably play, but it's probably a better idea you don't play. And I think that's kind of like what Tom Brady's talking about is we're more on the safe side of not playing because they want to protect the future compared to a lot of these other guys in the past who just fuck it, dude, deal with it. Move on. Just play.
I think probably the one thing I'll say is they're more worried about their second or third contract. So they're going to baby an injury if they see it, And the second one, maybe not back then, but now today, especially at the high school level and then these kids coming out, these
guys are getting paid early too.
No, paid early, but they're playing 7-on-7 all year long.
Right.
So their arms are never rested, So that's something that we're seeing with the younger guys maybe that affects them, that their arm has been through so many throws, right? Or their body has been through so many games or simulated games where maybe it's weakening them.
I mean, that's a good point, but I would say these past athletes or professionals in the past, they played other sports, right? Like Tom Brady played baseball. So did Russell Wilson. He was a baseball player. I mean, these guys were either in the wrestling mat or on the track or on the baseball field, on the basketball court.
So then maybe like Tom Brady said, the generation we see now is just soft.
It's just soft.
Yeah, flat out.
Yeah. But I mean, torn ligaments in your wrist.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
but,
say
like,
you're soft.
But
Right?
like you see like AC joint injuries, you see shoulder injuries, you see obviously the knee injuries, but that's the biggest thing I think about is like they're worried about protecting their future, like he said, like Drew said, right? And then their contract, their second or third contract, they want to make it there, you know?
That's true. Like how many? Like if you think about it back, like how many surgeries did Big Ben put off? Like I'll just worry about it at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting thing too. How many fields were turf fields back in the day? How many times do we see ACLs or MCLs go out where it's a non-contact injury right now?
I think there was a good amount of turf fields back in the day.
They like AstroTurf.
Like AstroTurf.
But is AstroTurf,
where they were playing
does
with tennis
AstroTurf
shoes.
have the same? Well, yeah. Does AstroTurf have the same effect as current turf? Tennis shoes on cement, essentially.
Well, the thing
Probably.
is, I think some of these guys they're playing with studs in turf.
Yeah, and I think that's different
Yeah.
than playing with tennis shoes on AstroTurf.
On AstroTurf. Yeah, that is different because supposedly this new turf is supposed to mimic grass way more than the AstroTurf
Well, we even
did.
seen it the same game. Lamar got hurt. He rolled up his ankle.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
And, he worked through it, but that's a team right there. I think the Ravens' outlook on the season, they got 10 days off now, but they lost Andrews
Mark
potentially.
Andrews.
Yeah. He's out for the year.
Yeah.
No, I think they came out
Yeah,
today.
said-
Said
said
maybe week
maybe?
16.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe towards the
okay.
end of the year he might come back.
Oh, okay.
But
Week 16 is too late, in my opinion. Bringing back week 14.
but I like
I need him for
the
playoffs.
Ravens' outlook. If you look up the Ravens' schedule, they play the Chargers this week. They get a bye next week, and then they don't. I mean, the contests or the games that they have aren't like they get Miami at home, so it's
Right.
like
I
they
think
have.
And so that's
they have
they're going to be the favorite to win.
yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you
division,
guys. Like,
the
is the
conference.
road to the Super Bowl in the AFC? You have to go through Baltimore at this
It's
point.
kind of looking like it.
At this
because-
point, yes, because of
Unless you're Kansas City, right?
Kansas City has a really weak schedule.
They have a weak schedule coming up.
up.
They could win out.
They could
very
catch
much.
them.
Yeah.
Whoever slips up, obviously, is going to lose it. But
Right.
the Baltimore Ravens are in first right now. So.
Yes. So let's see. What else do you guys want to get into? We doing injuries?
Sundays games? Any Sundays?
Any surprise performances? Justin Fields, I think would be my pick. He played a lot better than I thought he would.
Stroud again?
Fields played like he played last year, in my opinion. I mean, it wasn't really a surprise to me.
No, you wouldn't think you weren't surprised.
I mean, Fields played great last year. It's just the team around him's terrible.
The Lions finding a way to win that game, even though they were down like I think 3.5 quarters.
Lions team in the past
No,
would
they
lose that
fold.
game.
Would have
Let's
lost.
talk about it's their best record in like 50
the
years.
60s.
Yeah,
Since
since,
the
the 60s.
60s, yeah, dude.
They've never been. They've never had this many wins going into a Thanksgiving Day game.
And that's another thing. Like, depending on what happens with Philadelphia and the Niners, is the road to the Super Bowl through Detroit.
That's
You
wild.
know, I completely forgot that they were 8-2. I was thinking, man, the Niners right now are the 2 seed, and then someone's like, nah, dude, the Lions are the 2 seed. I was like, holy shit, that's right.
Niners are the 3.
That's right.
Yeah, and that division isn't. So, I mean, they play Green Bay on Thursday, so it's.
That's the Thanksgiving game this weekend. I mean, and then Green Bay. I mean, they've kind of fallen off, right?
Green Bay doesn't scare anyone.
Chicago really doesn't scare anybody.
No,
I mean, they almost snuck up on Detroit, but Detroit, like you guys said, found a way to win.
Maybe Minnesota can catch them, but because Minnesota plays them twice still, so.
Yeah, but I mean,
what? There's like 3 game difference in the win column.
Yeah,
But
but,
is
if you
the-
beat them twice, you can catch them. So.
but is the Joshua Dobbs magic kind of starting to run out a little bit? I mean, Denver found a way to win that game.
They did.
Yeah, but you know, I think Denver. Well, I don't know. Denver was just as hot as Minnesota, and you have a former MVP as your quarterback in Denver. So I think the upper hand goes to Denver.
Russell Wilson never won MVP.
Did he win Super Bowl MVP?
No,
Who won
He
Super
didn't
Bowl MVP?
that was it was one of their linebackers,
It was Malcolm Smith.
Malcolm Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's never won. He's never even gotten an MVP vote.
No.
Yeah. That's an actual
Really?
thing. Yeah, it's an actual stat. He's never
That's
gotten
kind
an
of
MVP
insane.
vote.
Isn't there there's 30 people voting, right? 32 people voting.
Something like that. But I think it's
and
just
not one person voted for him.
I think he's
on
just
all
got
those years.
He's just gotten beat out by other guys.
Or he tails off towards the end of the year.
Or he tails off towards the end of the year. I mean, there's some games where he does put the team on his back, but he's always been around good teams. Even the year that he won the Super Bowl, It was that dominant defense. I mean, they beat the Broncos.
Well, that's what they were talking about
50-something.
during the broadcast, how that Broncos team reminds them a lot of the Pete Carroll days with Seattle. Great defense, you know. Granted, the way the Broncos started was not good, but the last three
It was not. When you give up 70.
yeah. But the last month of the season, beating KC, beating the Bills, beating
Right.
and now you beat the Vikings on Sunday night. So
Yeah.
Any other surprise performances?
The Browns.
The Browns?
The Browns being the Steelers. Granted, not that surprising because I think the Steelers are the biggest fraud in the NFL right now. Well, before this game. I don't trust Kenny Pickett. I don't trust Kenny Pickett.
I wouldn't say they're frauds. I would say they're scrappy. They're scrappy ass dudes who find a way to win, but they've also taken advantage of their opportunities. I would say that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that Rams game, they probably should have lost that Rams game, right?
Yeah.
But they took advantage of that opportunity.
Well, they fired Matt Canada this morning, so
That's
a lot
another.
of Pittsburgh fans were very excited.
Well, they were calling for his head like early on. Remember when he made
It
the
was like
fake Twitter account?
Yeah, it was like week 2. They were already calling for him after.
It was bad.
Yeah,
It was bad. I mean, scapegoat firing.
You
Bit.
know, I've seen Kenny Pickett. Granted, I don't sit there and I don't watch Steelers games, and I know Canada's hasn't been great, but still, it's hard to fire the offensive coordinator when your starting quarterback is Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett is a backup quarterback.
He's got them whopper hands.
Dude, he's not a guy that if 32 teams in the NFL had the opportunity to pick starting quarterbacks, not one of them's picking Kenny Pickett.
true.
I think it was just circumstances, man. And Mike Tomlin, everything goes off to him.
I mean,
dude,
he had almost as many incompletions as completions in this game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So let's fire the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, well, it's another scapegoat firing, right?
Right.
Like,
Back-to-back weeks, right? Two teams fire their offensive coordinator.
It's easier to get another offensive coordinator than it is to get another quarterback.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, most of these teams they pass.
Hey,
it
try
down
Trey
to their
Lance, make us an
quarterback coach.
offer.
Right. That's why I was like, Trey Lance was still out there, and
I really want to know how many people called for Trey.
that's something that's interesting because I mean the Jets, dude, Zach Wilson getting benched this week
Isn't he
too?
the third string now?
Yeah, Tim Boyle's going to start this week.
Yeah.
No clue who he is. I just learned that.
He played for the Bears.
Did he?
Yeah.
I
have no
memorized
idea. I
his
have no
name
clue
because
who
I'm
he
like,
is.
oh, that's what the Dolphins are playing on Friday.
Talk to that guy a little bit.
Tim
Talk about
Boyle.
that guy.
Yeah, and then
Dolphins got the Jets
that's
on Friday?
That's another
Yeah.
thing, man.
Oh, look, we finally have a Friday game. It's gonna be boring.
Another backup quarterback. Well, I mean, it was going to be a backup quarterback either way. It's hard to watch Zach Wilson play football, dude. It's just, and that's the crazy thing is all the physical attributes are there, right? We all saw his combine. We all
he
watched the
short?
film from his college. But I mean, the guy's he's a scrappy dude. He runs around. He's got a big arm. I don't know if you guys
He's
remember.
one of those guys that was really good in college. I wouldn't say really good. He was good in college and just didn't pan out in the NFL.
I'm starting to get the sense it's kind of like the whole Johnny Manziel thing. Like maybe this guy just doesn't watch film
He's super delusional.
because like there's like throws that he makes and I'm just like, dude.
Well, remember last year when they lost to the Patriots, it was like 10-3, and it was like your defense only gave up 10 points.
And you still lost.
You think it was your fault? He was like, no.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, no, I don't take responsibility for that.
remember
He's like,
that.
it's
It was
just-
at that moment that Saul was like, we need to get Rodgers in here now.
yeah, yeah. And I
Well,
think
they're
it's,
talking about him coming back like week sometime in
yeah.
December.
Can we stop that? Can we stop?
Jets fans, do me a favor. Do not hope for this. It's just going to make things way
Just
worse.
because he's out there throwing in a boot doesn't mean
Well,
he's
there's
coming back. Or he's wearing
there's
Kim
like-
Kardashian's shape up.
There's
shoes.
speculations that he never even really hurt or
Tore it completely.
tore it, and then someone said, "Well, if he comes back, he's gonna really like tear
Like
it."
actually tear it.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. If he came back tomorrow, this week against the Dolphins, and he played well, you guys are not making the playoffs. So what is the point of having Aaron Rodgers play? Get healthy.
Rodgers is just
Do better.
anything
Just
to get
Anything
attention.
to get attention. Same thing as always, dude. Rodgers has always done this throughout his entire
Dude,
career.
Kelsey-
Is he smoking those mushrooms that are going to help him
the
heal faster?
ayahuasca, yeah. Maybe?
Did Kelsey really say that? There was like a report that said something because you know how he like called him out.
He called him Pfizer boy or
Yeah,
whatever.
but then,
Oh, yeah.
Kelsey says something like, "Yeah, Tuesdays on the McAfee show. That's his game day."
Yeah. That's what he prepares for every week.
Like, damn.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a point, dude. That's the thing with Rodgers, dude. It's just
It's media attention.
why if you're out, dude, why are you out there running your mouth? You know,
Just go focus on your rehab.
just focus on your rehab. Supposedly he hates the attention. You know, like he wants to isolate himself, all this and that.
He's one of the only guys I've ever seen in the NFL be out for the season, still show up to all the games, still be that guy that's throwing the ball around. It's like, dude, just
he knows where the
take a
cameras
back
are.
seat
Yeah.
and let other people do it.
Yeah.
Be like every other NFL, stay home. NFL guy, stay home and hop on your Twitter. That's all.
Hey,
That's all
the
they do.
best thing
pretty
is
much.
when the commentators are like, "Oh yeah, he came back and he showed he sent the team a video of him throwing the football."
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Should have sent a video of your Achilles and how the
Let's see
injury
you
process.
run a couple.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
a
just
couple
checking in.
yards.
Take a look.
Yeah.
still torn.
What are you gonna do when the defense is coming right at you? So,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No,
Especially how fast
no
these-
shot.
And then that offensive line is bad too, right? And then I hear a lot of people saying that that he
Becton-
makes that offensive line better. I don't
Yeah.
fucking think so.
They're starting. I think right tackle's out this Friday
Yeah.
already. So, hey Tim Boyle, welcome to the NFL. By the way, your right tackle's out this week.
So what was the stat? They haven't scored a touchdown since like week 5 or something like that.
The
I think it
Jets?
was like Brees Hall.
The Jets have I think 9 offensive touchdowns, and
Like
they're,
in total.
they're making
Dude,
fun
Deron
of.
Bland's gonna have the same amount of touchdowns at the end of the season. as
They said the
Jets.
Dolphins had more touchdowns in one game
Yeah.
than the Jets have the entire season.
And then one of them I think was they were counting a defensive touchdown. I think
Oh,
Bryce Hall or
man.
Brees Hall or something like that. I mean, it looks bad. Like that's what's like Nathaniel Hackett too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers, he did make the point that he did win 2 MVPs with that offense. But, I mean, you also had Devontae Adams. You probably had a better line, better running game.
I personally think Zach Wilson's bad.
Terrible.
He's bad.
Absolutely
He's
terrible.
he's got to be one of the worst quarterbacks in the league currently.
Who's worse, him or Pickett?
Zach
Ooh,
Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Kenny Pickett's got 6 wins. Zach Wilson, does he have 6 wins in his career?
Well, Kenny Pickett, he at least looks competent, right? Like, he at least looks like he can get the ball out. Yeah. Zach Wilson can't do anything.
Dude, it's
Looks completely
horrendous.
lost.
Dude,
I think German can lace it up and put up.
I think
Zach
I'd
Wilson
be
numbers.
better.
Just got to warm up before.
I just got to get that. I'm also like 10 years older than the guy. So it's like I'm going to need a lot of ice baths
He's gonna
afterwards.
put some olive oil on that shoulder.
Little olive oil. The Tin Man. Just
Yeah,
get the
just to get it
WD-40. Just have a can of it on the sideline. Just you see
The
when,
WD?
well, yeah, the WD-40 when they cut to the sideline of me. Just, and
He's gonna use a spray.
every other quarterback's on the tablet. I'm with the WD-40 on the sideline.
Dude.
He's gonna be like he just pitched like 8 innings. In
I
the
know. He's
NFL.
going to have the
Yeah,
giant ass
dude.
ice pack.
And it's like the numbers 6 for 10.
When Kobe had those ice packs on his knees, he's just going to come to the sideline every
Oh,
single
yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Just
dude.
ice this man down right now.
Let's talk about Monday night's game. How'd you guys?
Drew, go ahead, dude. Give us your thoughts on the Monday night game. Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Oh my god!
Jesus Christ.
No, like it was a good game.
You finally admitted
no.
it. That was change your tune, man.
Yes,
I
on.
mean,
you said it was bad. I think you were just upset that the Eagles.
I
won.
was very upset that the Eagles won, dude. I'm upset that these guys that get paid millions of dollars for the Chiefs to catch footballs can't catch fucking footballs.
It looked pretty
If
bad.
I pay someone $15 an hour at my job to do something, they don't do it, I'm firing. I'm moving on. The Chiefs got to do the same thing.
Cutthroat.
Get someone in here that can catch a goddamn ball.
So you don't give him any benefit of the doubt because of the rain or anything.
No.
That's why Drew's all constantly in HR's office, dude.
Dude, if Patrick Mahomes in the pouring rain can throw the perfect spiral 55 yards downfield into the fucking breadbasket, the least you can do with your gloves is catch the goddamn ball. But
he was putting in some spots. That deep ball at the end of the game, you couldn't have walked over and handed it to him any better than that.
No.
That was
and
perfect.
then the 4th and 25.
Another perfect
it's
ball.
another dime.
Hey, if that was Zach Wilson, it might have gone backwards.
Dude. Yeah. It's a little
It would've
high,
it would've
but the
gone the other
guy
way.
jumps up there right in front of his face, and he's like, "Let's just try to catch the ball with my hands this far apart."
It hits him in the head.
It hits one hand. His left hand's way over here, and then just
It goes right over the top of his head. It just like nips
It's
his helmet.
bad.
So who do you give credit to for the win? The Eagles
The Eagles
offense or the Eagles defense?
Defense.
No, okay. I would say it's more
The first touchdown they got, flag, hold.
I would say it was more that the Chiefs beat themselves than the Eagles.
Okay.
The Eagles
You
stayed
held
in it.
Patrick Mahomes at home to 0 points in the second half.
Okay, but
That's the victory.
here's a stat I want to throw at you guys that they talked about last night. The last 3 games, so Eagles, Dolphins, and I think Broncos have all held the Chiefs scoreless in the second half.
Maybe there's just something that they're not putting together in the second half, and
They're not finishing drives.
I mean, I didn't watch the other games in full. The Monday night game, I got to actually sit down and like actually watch it all. It was, dude, those turnovers killed because it looked to me like the Chiefs at one point were like unstoppable, right? Especially in the first half.
Yeah.
Like they looked like they were just going up and down the field just like the Chiefs normally do, scoring touchdowns, and then they were getting to the red zone. He throws a pick. Okay, you can get it back because in the first half, Jalen looked awful, right? He did not look like an MVP caliber quarterback.
He's looked like that a lot this season, and people aren't talking about that enough.
And then
he is again this morning. He's a front runner to MVP. He's not played well at all this season.
So
Is he the front runner of MVP?
Defense
Yes.
and running game?
Yes, he's the front runner. He's
the
the
front
odds
runner?
favorite.
Oh,
He's
weird.
they are now the number 1 team in the NFL, right?
I couldn't say who my clear cut favorite is to win MVP.
It's pretty open
I
right now.
Yeah.
I honestly
Mahomes
think
hasn't been good lately.
No.
I think it's gonna whoever
Has the top seed.
has the top seed in the NFC is gonna be the MVP.
What's
So,
not gonna? So
if
what
the
if
Lions win it? Jared Goff.
Jared Goff?
Yeah,
Same thing with the Niners. If
Yes,
the Niners go, Brock Purdy.
I think the NFC is far more competitive right now than the AFC, and I think the quarterback that is the number 1 seed is going to be the MVP.
I still think they're gonna outvote Lamar more than anything. I think Lamar is gonna win it this year.
If they finish with the 1 seed,
yeah.
He's throwing for 180 yards a game. What?
But he's also rushing for
He's also
100.
rushing for 180.
Dude, look,
He might finish with 1,500 yards
he-
passing and 1,500 yards rushing.
yeah.
No, I can't.
that in the NFL to do that, you get my MVP vote.
I see what you're saying, but I mean, what game did he apologize to his fantasy owners? Wasn't this
Was it
like
like
2 weeks ago?
yeah.
He threw for like 180 yards. He ran for like 60 yards.
Yeah, but then they still win.
Yeah, well, it would. Despite him, that's what I'm saying. They ran.
Saying-
than
No, I
everyone
think it was
else.
against.
Okay.
I think it was against Detroit where they racked it up because Lamar
Yes.
didn't have to do anything.
So then what
That's
you guys
my
are
point.
saying, right? No quarterbacks have been impressive. So what you're saying, if the if Tyreek Hill gets close to 2,000, he's
Tyreek
MVP?
has not close to 2,000. He's got to break the record.
If Cooper Kupp can win the MVP,
Winning the
winning
triple
the Triple
crown.
Crown that one year they won the
Then
Super Bowl.
Tyreek's not winning.
Tyreek has to set the record.
for him
There's
to win.
there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yes.
That would be the only way. That's what I was like, and then you can like make the argument. Okay, well then like, can Christian McCaffrey win MVP because he's been putting the team on his back? But that's probably not going to happen.
Will they give it to a defensive guy?
McCaffrey's got like 3 games of less than 100 yards.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, then then
I wouldn't
Do you
give
make
it-
the argument
There's
of
no-
like
This is as open as it's ever been. Then
I would
think
I
so.
would even throw Myles Garrett's name in there. Then.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Would
He's
you
at
give
like
it to a
13 sacks right now,
defensive
right?
guy?
Yeah. And then just throw a defensive guy. Let's see a defensive guy win MVP. The last guy to do it was what, Ray Lewis? In like 2000?
Yeah, it's 20 years ago. Or,
Yeah.
Hey, if Myles Garrett wins it, that opens up Micah or Deron Bland to win defense.
To finally eventually, which I think that would be, even in the future, like if Micah can win MVP.
Well, Micah talked about that on his podcast about how he thinks a lot of people think that the NFL needs to stop giving it always to quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think
That
so too.
needs to bring light to that. Certain guys need to be shown off for the talents, and even defensive player of the year. Typically, it's a pass rusher, right?
Yeah.
It's always a guy that's rushing the quarterback. If it's not, occasionally a linebacker. Defensive backs are doing a fucking good job across the board.
And if you
But-
ask a lot of players, defensive back is probably the hardest position.
Yes.
It is hands down the hardest position.
And Deron Bland the other day, right? It's just because I'm watching him a lot more right now. He was targeted 3 times and one for a pick 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's being targeted only 3 times shows how good you are.
Well, yeah, it's like we can talk about Jalen Ramsey. He
Yes.
I think
He got 3. He got 2 picks, right?
2
the other
picks on
night?
Sunday, right?
Mhm.
But and he sealed the game against the Raiders. Which, by the way, I was like, "What is
Your
going
sphincter
on?"
was a little tight there, buddy.
I was like,
They
"Wait
were
a
tight
minute."
there.
They were not going to beat the Dolphins.
I know, but you got to give them credit. They didn't.
The Raiders were scrappy.
They had chances to win that game, and Jalen Ramsey coming
You're
over
not
the
gonna
top.
win- you're
to
not
seal
gonna
the game.
Everyone still had faith in the Raiders or the Dolphins from the beginning to the end.
Oh yeah,
But it was
The
way
Raiders-
closer for everyone's comfort.
The Raiders were never in charge. I mean, their defense played lights out, but then the Dolphins also had to deal with some injuries,
Yeah.
and then they really couldn't really get.
But yeah, like
running
you
game
talked
going.
about Deron Bland, Jalen Ramsey. These DBs, like they have a hard job, and they're making quarterbacks go
Yes.
away from them
away
because
from them
because they're so good.
Well,
good.
that's the thing with playing DB or receiver. I mean, it comes down to circumstances. Like we were talking about.
the better you are, the less opportunities you get to show.
Yeah,
off.
because then you're receiver, and then you're going to get double teamed. That's why, Jamar Chase had a down year.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jefferson's having a down year, even with the injury. Devontae Adams. If you're a top dog, top receiver, you're going to get double teamed. And then if you're a top corner, you're going to get the ball thrown the other way.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's hard for them to make impact in the game, and that's why I think you see quarterbacks and pass rushers win these awards more often because they have a direct impact to the game.
Okay, so then say a quarterback wins the MVP, so then Tyreek wins offensive MVP or offensive player of the year.
I do think the NFL does things kind of stupid to give an
It's a big
MVP
surprise.
to give an MVP and then also do it offensive player of the
well,
year.
that's the whole. They just want to give it to a quarterback,
I know.
and then
but
offensive player of the year.
And then
I
they do,
know.
and then they do
I know.
pick quarterback
I know.
of the year. They pick
I know.
receiver of the year.
I'm not a big fan, but yes, the way it looks right now. But isn't it by conference?
Yes, it's by
Okay,
NFC and
so,
AFC.
so right now, I think Tyreek is
Offensive
the clear
player of the year.
favorite to win offensive player of the year,
out of the
regardless
AFC.
of MVP or not. He's the clear favorite.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, going down the list, dude. Yeah, it's even when in contention to the Super Bowl, dude. It's still all wide open, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at throughout the entire league. I mean, the past few years, you would pick Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patty Mahomes, all these other teams to go win the Super Bowl. This year,
The NFC has 4 contenders alone.
yeah.
and the Lions are one of them.
That's crazy. The fact that you can, if right now someone told us one of these 4 teams was going to the Super Bowl in the NFC, you'd be like, not really surprised. They do that really good. They do this really good. They do that really good. And you can say that about every single one of those teams.
Yeah, they all have their places where they're really good at. So.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think this is like as close as you've seen the AFC in the past years, because the past 5 years it's always been
The
Because
Chiefs.
Patrick Mahomes
it's
and
a lot
everybody
more
else.
mediocre.
Or last year,
It's
Burrow
a lot
and
more
Mahomes.
mediocre.
It's a lot more mediocre.
Yeah. Because
Or is it just that much more competitive?
No, I don't
injuries and mediocre play probably, especially
Because
for
look
him.
at this Chiefs could not contend against last year's Chiefs.
Well, how bad is it hurting Mahomes that he doesn't have a clear cut number 1 receiver? Like
It's-
even like teams are trying to take away Kelsey, which they pretty much did last night, aside from
They were
4
like
catches.
triple teaming him in
They're
the red zone.
forcing Mahomes to throw to these guys who literally cannot catch the ball.
Yeah, they're saying go ahead, beat us. You're not going to beat
Yeah.
us with Kelsey.
Yeah.
Well, like even the pick 6 and when they lost to Detroit, it was Kadarius Toney went straight through his hands, right? They went pick 6 that won them the game. I mean, it goes to show in the NFL you can't win.
If you take out Diggs, who does Josh Allen got? Gabe Davis?
Gabe Davis, who shows up once every other game.
Yeah,
They've got literally
so-
no ground game.
I mean, same thing with the Cowboys. If you take away CD Lamb, right?
Well, they took away CeeDee Lamb this last week.
But I mean, it was against Carolina, dude.
Just
Even
saying
with
fact.
Miami, when Tyreek left the game there, you got kind of worried, right?
A little bit, but then he started going to Waddle.
Well, you can see it start to connect to Waddle
but it's
a little
not
bit
the
more.
same as having
As
Tyreek
Tyreek.
blowing
Yeah.
past everybody.
Right.
So, yeah, every guy you take away his best guy.
I mean, you saw the Niners when we lost to Cleveland. We lost Kisher McCaffrey, right? We kind of pretty much almost fell apart in that game. It goes to show, dude. In the NFL,
Everybody's one injury
it's
away.
just one injury away,
to
man.
your star player.
Yeah, and then
We already got 2 injuries. Dallas
we'll
got
s-
2. Leave us alone.
And then we'll see what happens with the Ravens that Mark Andrews is out,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they're going to miss him in the passing game big time, but even in the running game, how much he blocks. He's a huge body, big-ass dude. So, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. So we want to break down this week's games?
Yeah, let's get into this
Got
week's games.
3 Thursday games, 1 Friday game.
Hell yeah. You guys want to pick all 3 Thanksgiving games?
Sure.
Awesome.
Thanksgiving special.
The Thanksgiving special.
You gotta put a little turkey in the
At the bottom.
yeah,
So
it's
who's
like
the early game is the Packers and Lions?
Packers.
Packers and Lions.
Lions always play first on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving.
I remember a time when they used to rotate them in Dallas.
Right.
Yeah, but
But
then
then-
Dallas became Dallas.
But then Dallas at one point started playing. I remember them playing the Lions a couple times.
No,
Or
they've
might have
never
been.
played.
They never played on Thanksgiving.
No, because they always,
Okay.
both of them
They always
host.
have a game, always
Mm.
host.
Maybe I think just the memories are just
Putting them
starting
together.
to mesh together.
So is everyone giving them the program jinx?
Yeah,
Lions?
let's give them the program
Lions.
jinx.
Lions.
Might as well, dude.
Yep.
Same thing with the Cowboys.
Because
Cowboys.
yeah, I mean the Packers, they're coming off the win against LA, the Chargers, but another 1-score game that the Chargers lose,
Yeah.
and somehow
I-
Staley still has a job.
I have just this much more faith in the Packers than I do the Chargers. So that's not saying a whole lot.
Okay, then we'll go Commanders and Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go
Yeah.
Dallas. Yeah, and then
Cowboys have won like 12 straight games at home.
They saved the best for last. Niners at Seattle.
12th man, huh?
It's in Seattle.
Interesting.
Seattle lost a
And
close
Seattle's
one.
coming off a loss to the Rams. Geno Smith was a little banged up. I think
He
he was
did.
like he hurt his elbow or something
his,
like that.
his shoulder.
Yeah.
As much as I want to pick Seattle, because that's who I'll be rooting for, I do think the Niners will win this game.
Yes.
Yeah, they're coming back pretty hot.
Is this their first time meeting up this year?
This year, yes.
And then
Yeah,
they-
because then they turn around and Seattle goes and they go play Dallas. The Niners
they
go
gotta
play
go
Philly, and then
Oh,
it
Seattle,
goes back.
Seattle has a brutal end to the season.
That's why I was like, I
schedule.
think Seattle.
I feel like a lot of these top dog NFC teams have a tough ending to the season.
Seattle right now they're sitting at 6-4. They could very much be at 6-7 at the end of
In a few weeks.
Yeah, just in a couple weeks. Yeah,
They've
It's a
got
big
Niners,
turnaround.
Cowboys, Eagles,
yeah.
and the Eagles got Chiefs,
Bills this Sunday.
Bills, Niners, Cowboys.
Yeah.
So
it's
it's
going to be tough. Well, because Seattle they go Niners, Cowboys, Niners.
that's tough.
That's tough.
Play San Francisco back to back.
Yeah,
Well, with the Cowboys in between.
yeah. Sandwich the Cowboys in between.
At Dallas to top it off. So
Yeah, and then the next 2 are on the road.
It's
Yeah.
not easy.
It's not easy.
It's
for
not
them.
easy.
Any of the Sunday games you guys want to predict? I mean, the Sunday night game.
Oh, Sunday
Oh,
night.
Lamar against the Chargers.
Lamar against the Chargers,
Ooh.
which I looked online. The tickets are like $40. I was.
I'm gonna go upset here. The first game without Mark Andrews.
Don't you hate Staley?
I
I do.
think he's just
I do.
somehow
he might
wants
be
him to
just
keep his
that
job.
incompetent that he wins this game.
Yeah.
He's.
It's one of those games where, hey, it's looking like you guys are gonna get fucking worked. Somehow they're gonna win this
Is it
game.
going to be a shootout or no?
No,
No.
I think
Lamar doesn't play shootouts.
So then 20-17.
16, I think
17.
the Chargers are going to get worked. I do
Worked?
think. Yeah.
It's just going to be a lot.
because
of,
it's been because the Chargers have been close game. Eventually, it's just gonna fall apart.
the wheels are
if-
gonna
Let's
fall
see
off.
what's the spread.
If Justin Herbert's not fucking playing like a god, the Chargers just
Well,
stand
he's
no
been dealing
chance
with the injury too on his
on his like finger
on
or
his
whatever.
finger, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll take the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens, and you're gonna go Chargers.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be
So,
different.
at least we didn't jinx the Ravens.
There we go.
Yeah.
Monday night.
And then the Monday night game, highly anticipated matchup between
wow.
Justin
Whoa.
Fields and Joshua Dobbs.
Hey, Ravens are only -3.5 that game.
What do you go? Where are you gonna go?
I'm taking
Dobbs.
Super
the
entertaining
Bears.
game.
Is it in Minnesota?
It's in Minnesota.
The Bears.
Give me the Dobbs factor to bounce back.
Give me Fields.
I'm gonna go Chicago. I'm gonna go Fields. I think Fields is starting to turn it around a little bit.
Chicago.
I mean, talk about another coach that's on the hot seat too, right? In Chicago, Eberflus. I heard reports that Frank Wright is on the hot seat.
Yeah, in Carolina.
It should be. A lot of people, just because they think they got the first overall pick, means they suck last year. They traded to get the first
I
overall
know.
pick,
And then they don't have a
and they
pick
got
this year.
worse. Yeah,
Dude, they are really bad.
they've
I
gotten
forgot.
worse.
I forgot who said it. It might have been Chris Broussard or Nick. I think it was Nick Wright. Said you can take all 22 of their starters. Not one of them would start for Dallas.
I agree.
I was like, damn,
I agree.
that's That's true.
Because I'm trying to think. Because they don't even have.
Thielen might start somewhere.
Adam Thielen. If we're talking 3 receivers, he's gonna have to go toe to toe with Michael Gallup.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of teams.
And I think that's a coin flip between Michael Gallup and Adam Thielen right now.
I'll take Brian Burns. He's a good linebacker.
Oh, Brian Burns. He's a good linebacker. He might start.
He might be the only one.
Well, with Vander Esch out, he'll probably start.
But dude, Marquise Bell, his tackle rate is pretty insane. He's been playing super well since Van Der Esch went out.
But it's also been against Carolina. I mean,
what are you talking? He's been out since the Niner game.
I'm just kidding. All right, yeah. You guys want to close it out? I think we'll end it with that one.
Hold on. One quick thing.
Yeah.
Do the Broncos win their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th game in a row? They got the Browns at home.
No, I don't think so.
You think?
I think
the Browns?
Will.
I think that's going to be a really good game.
It's 2 defensive squads right there.
But I think that Cleveland defense is legit. I think
it's going to be another Cleveland shootout.
Joe Flacco got signed.
Yeah.
With,
Cleveland.
I don't think 13 points wins you a game though. So against Denver.
Well,
maybe, but
you never know. I mean,
Russ, I need 2 touchdowns out of you, Russ. Just 2.
And you have him starting in fantasy?
No, I'm just saying that's.
Oh, you just want him to beat Cleveland?
I think that would be entertaining.
And that's the thing too. Is
he only threw for 1 on Sunday, right?
Okay, hypothetical guys. Cleveland's at 7-3. What if they squeeze out some more games? They squeeze out some more wins.
8-3.
Wait, Cleveland's 7-3 right now.
Yeah.
They're 7-3.
Jeez.
And then they got the Broncos and the Rams. They could potentially go 9-3 without Deshaun Watson. Is it a testament? Is it a testament of how good of a team they are?
Yeah, how good that defense is.
If they can get to 10 wins, Myles Garrett will win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, and with Nick Chubb being out the whole year too.
And then with Nick Chubb being out,
that's if you get to 10 wins and you don't have your star running back and your starting quarterback for half the year.
No.
That's a really good job coaching.
Because looking at the rest of their schedule,
dude, they're the 5 seed right now.
And then they have Jacksonville, then they have Chicago, Houston, New York Jets, and the Bengals.
Dude, none of those quarterbacks scare me.
They could
maybe
Trevor push.
No, even Trevor Lawrence.
Like they split with the Ravens, right?
Yeah.
Imagine they finish with the same record and then it comes out.
The
AFC goes through Cleveland and Dorian Thompson-Robinson or Joe Flacco.
What is happening this year, dude?
Dude, I'm gonna say it every single time that they win. The Browns were my pick.
And it's
my dark horse.
And honestly, you can make the argument that they look better without Deshaun.
No, I'm not gonna make that argument. You put up 13 points at home last week. No, get out of here.
I'm just saying.
Get out of here.
I'm just saying. All right, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's close it out with that one, man. That's good.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, listening. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. Maybe next week we'll talk about free agency in baseball. That's coming up.
Not a chance. I could already shut that down right now.
All right, everyone.
All right, bye,
Peace.
Everybody.